So I just found out about this pretty amazing new feature with Facebook to make it much more affordable to use Facebook advertising to market your book that I'm excited about. So I'm going to record this video for you. You just go into Facebook and go to create ads. You might already be familiar with Facebook's advertising, but I'll show you the new feature that you may not have seen before because it previously it was kind of a more advanced feature that was hidden, and now they've made it publicly accessible. So it's going to make it really neat because before you could just pick interests and you could advertise something to anybody with a certain number of interests. But it was anybody who had any of those interests. So I'm going to click send people to my website. There's a discussion to be had about whether you should send people directly to your website or to your Amazon page. I'm sending them to my website because I want them to maybe buy the book, but also sign up to my email list and find out more about me. I'll get better value for my money if you just send them to your Amazon page, it's a yes or no. And if they don't buy right away, maybe you don't have enough reviews or you don't have a nice book cover, then you're just losing that sale and someone will forget about you. But if you send them to your website and you have a nice looking website with a lot of cool stuff, you'll stick in their mind a little longer. So even if they don't buy right away, they might become fans later on. So I'm going to do this and enter the URL. You also want to take people, if you're sending people to your website, you want to take them to a landing page, not your home page. Because I'm just advertising one book launch, so I want them to find that book. I don't want them to take them to everywhere. Also, Facebook owns Instagram now, so you can automatically show the same advertisements on Instagram, which is really neat. It may not be a good idea depending on your genre, but because I'm writing young adult fiction and there's a ton of book bloggers on Instagram already, it's a good idea for me to be using Instagram as long as I have a good advertisement. The trick with advertisements is you don't want to be spammy, so if you just say something like, get my free book available today, even if it's free download, it can be spammy. You want to do something a little cooler that gets more interest. So for this campaign, I'm doing Save a Mermaid. So instead of just saying promote, buy my book, I'm saying all the money will go to oceanic wildlife conservation. It just makes it something that they haven't seen before, something a little more interesting. I can choose a location. I probably want to add Canada, depending on the age. Personally, I'm looking for more young adult readers, and they're probably going to be women. So here's kind of where it gets cool. You can use detailed targeting. So normally, I would do something like young adult books or young adult fiction, and there's 2.5 million people in that age group who are female. Oh, now there's only 390,000, which isn't so bad. So there's 390,000, which actually is low, but it just means that those are only the people on Facebook who are in that age group who have said that they like young adult fiction. There's actually a lot more people who read young adult fiction, but these are people that we know for sure like them. And I might add some more like urban fantasy. So I'll add that one. And normally I would also add mermaids or something. I'll add dark fantasy too. I would also normally, I'd add mermaids and then I would be done. But the problem is that it would show ads to people who liked either urban fantasy or young adult romance or mermaids, but not just to people who like young adult mermaid novels, which is what I'm really going after because that's too specific. But now that I've chosen some under detailed targeting, I can go down to narrow audience. And now I can add another one, must also match at least one of the following. And now is where I'll add mermaids. And there are 20 million people who like mermaids, but now it's only looking at people who like mermaids and dark fantasy, urban fantasy, and young adult fiction. That's only 90,000 people. So that's a really specific, very targeted group of people. When I put my ad in front of them that's for a young adult mermaid fantasy romance novel, it's going to be much more effective. And then I can choose, I'll set a daily budget. You want to be careful not to choose run my ad continuously starting today. I've done that before and I forget to turn it off and you spend a lot of money. So I would set a start and end date every time and just make sure you know when it's going to end and really keep track of it so you don't waste money. And then you'll click links to your website, automatic or manual. I think automatic is probably fine. Right now it's set for link clicks, which means you're only paying when someone clicks on the advertisement. But you can also do it for the impressions, like you'd pay for every 20,000 impressions. Now, normally you'd get a much better deal doing link clicks because you'd be showing it to everybody, but most people wouldn't be interested because they're not really your perfect audience. So you wouldn't get that many links. So you wouldn't get that many clicks. So you just want to pay for the clicks, but you'd be paying more per click. Um, Now that my audience is so highly targeted with only 90,000 people, and all of those people are really going to be the perfect audience, so they're more likely to click, I'll probably try to do impressions instead. And you would want to kind of test this out. So I might do a couple days, at $20 a day, you can do a couple days at impressions and then switch to clicks and see which one is better for you, which one's working better. Um, the other interesting thing though, like if you do impressions and nobody's buying your book, or if you do clicks and nobody is clicking on your link, that means your ad isn't good enough. So maybe your graphics aren't very good, or your offer isn't good enough, or there's some problem there. Because if you have a good ad and you're showing it to the right audience, they're going to click. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to buy the book, but at least they should click and find out what's going on. If they just don't want to even click, it means you're showing them something they're not at all interested in, which either means you've designed it poorly, or you're targeting the wrong people. So then run ads on a schedule. I'd want to set my audience name something like Mermaids Young Adult. So this is pretty amazing because you could do this stuff before, but it was a lot harder to do and you had to kind of get into the more advanced pro features. But now it's really easy just to use that narrow feature, narrow further. Especially for low cost items like books, where it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend a lot of money advertising. If you've got, a 99-cent book, my book is 99 cents to start off. So if I'm spending $20 a day, I need to sell 30 or 40 or else I'm losing money. In the beginning, because I'm doing my first book launch and because this is my first book, and because I'm really focused on building my list, it's okay if I'm not earning a return on my investment right away, but I'll still want to see conversions. So if people are coming to my website but they're not buying, at least I want them signing up on my list or joining my Facebook page or doing something. If I'm spending money and nothing's happening, then I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong because I'm doing something wrong. And most authors just don't do things well enough, so they think Facebook advertising is a waste of money. But especially now when you're able to target this selectively, there's really no better way to advertise anywhere. But the kind of cool thing is it'll show you once I go forward and I pick an image. I'm not sure if I have the right image on this computer actually. Maybe I do. I've designed a lot. I mean, it helps that I'm a book designer, so I've got some nice looking images, but anybody can get on Fiverr.com or use Canva.com or WordSwag. I mean, there's a lot of choices for getting nicely designed things. And also, you can't have very much text in your image. I can't talk and search at the same time. Give me a second. So I'm looking for I have lots of fiction projects, but this is the mermaid one, and I've made some graphics. I'm doing two things for my launch. I'm doing a giveaway of mermaid stuff, and I'm also doing a Save the Mermaids campaign. Oops. And I'm doing that because just asking someone to buy or review your book or even download it for free, it's not really a good enough offer. You've got to build trust because you're selling this to a stranger. So you really want to lead with a review, and then some great images. Oops. Well, I'll do this later. Somewhere I think I've got one saved because I've done this already. I'll see if I can just bring that up. So that I can show you kind of what it looks like. And maybe not. Oh, there it is. Shearwater, Save a Mermaid, scheduled. So I've already scheduled an advertisement, and all I want to do is kind of show you what it's going to look like. And the cool thing, like again, is that it shows up on Instagram. Okay, so here it is, and I've basically done all this before. I've added the narrowed audience. It's going to show up on Instagram, which is fun, and also all these placements. I could get very specific with mobile devices, which is kind of fun. I could also, if I wanted to get really clever, because I'm only starting off selling on Amazon, so right now it's showing to everybody, but really I would just want people who had Kindles. If I want to get, extremely targeted. So that brings it down to 56,000 people. So those are people who probably have Kindles and are on Amazon. Because otherwise I would be showing it to people who maybe have iPads or they use other book platforms and they wouldn't be able to buy the book even if they're interested in it. So you want really high conversion rates. So get like 50,000 people. If I can get 10,000 of those people to actually download the book, that'd be a huge win, even if I'm giving it away for free. Anyway, I'm going to stop this video because I feel like I'm kind of rambling on, but that was the main thing that I wanted to show you, is that you can narrow your audience by adding features and get very specific, much more specific than you were able to before, which is exciting because it's going to mean more conversion. I'll probably talk more about this once I've actually launched this book, but I'll stop this video here so I can put it up. Thanks.